second half of the 2018 USL season kicks off tonight, and a raucous crowd is expected to brave the heat and pack Toyota Field, looking to give the home side a spark as San Antonio FC welcomes in the top team in the USL, Real Monarchs SLC. We have it for you on Fox Sports Southwest. And a pleasant good evening. Welcome to the broadcast booth along with Lance Key. I'm Dan Weiss. Anya Rosales joins us down on the field in just a bit. It's great to have you with us. A year ago nearly to this exact date, these two clubs met here at Toyota Field, separated by mere points atop the USL table. Fast forward 1 year later, Lance, Real Monarchs SLC still at the top of the table. San Antonio FC has some work to do.
Real Monarchs continuing to stay in the stride that they were in at the end of last season. San Antonio really struggling this year to find their identity. We've talked about that over and over really over the course of the first half of the season here, and still having the same conversation. Just can't seem to find the fluidity, the consistency with personnel from one match to the next. Going to have to make some changes certainly in this last 17 matches.
6 points as you see out of that last playoff spot, and here is what remains for San Antonio FC. It's been a friendly first half of the schedule for San Antonio. It's going to get a lot tougher here in the second half.
Most definitely will. When you're on the road a lot, your Monday to Friday gets a little bit trickier. And so that's one of the things I think as they go into these last 17 matches, they're going to have to be managing their personnel, managing their training schedule, and also managing the travel so that come Saturday evenings, they're prepared to play and be able to get points on the road.
And this will probably be the toughest foe San Antonio FC has faced to date. However, Real Monarchs SLC did not beat San Antonio last year, the only team in the Western Conference they failed to beat. Anya Rosales will join us down on the field. We'll have our starting 11s and kick when we return on Fox Sports Southwest.
Thanks. It's like a smart thing. What's the weather?
Sunny. Perfect chicken eating weather.
How'd you get in here?
It's time for chicken.
What's the traffic like?
Rerouting you to chicken.
Okay.
Hey, Calzo, order pizza.
Ordering chicken.
No, pizza.
Chicken.
Okay, chicken it is.
Chicken biscuits made fresh daily for breakfast.
Now that's smart.
Corner stores are proudly becoming Circle K, home of the Polar Pop Cup. That's right, you can enjoy any size Polar Pop Cup filled to the brim with your favorite flavor for just 79 cents at any corner store. Nothing stays cold longer, and the Polar Pop Cup is the best way to quench your thirst. Stay refreshed all day long for just 79 cents. Corner store, proudly becoming Circle K.
Who knew that the best place to buy wine was H-E-B? Texans knew. That's why H-E-B has been and continues to be the #1 wine retailer in Texas. We search across the country and all over the globe to find world-class wines at great prices and bring them back to Texas. And now, through September 3rd, you can download the Favor app, order wine and beer from H-E-B, and Favor will give you free delivery in under an hour.
When it needs to be ultra exciting, high flying, non-stop action, San Antonio FC Soccer's got you covered. When it needs to be high performing, hard working, high tech, super safe, built for comfort, and surprisingly affordable, Holt Cat has got you covered. With best-in-class Cat heavy equipment, engines, generators, and more, plus legendary service and support, and the largest parts inventory and distribution network in Texas. Kick it into high gear with Holt Cat.
It's week 19 of the USL season, and we welcome you to Toyota Field. Big matchup tonight of the Western Conference, San Antonio FC and Real Monarchs SLC. Let's take a look at our starting 11s. We begin with the visitors from Salt Lake City, and the man up top, Chandler Hoffman, one of the class strikers in the league, second all-time in USL, and goals scored 54 in his career, 14 back of Dane Kelly for the all-time lead. For San Antonio FC, two notable additions to the starting 11 tonight. Ethan Bryant makes the start in the number 10 role, just his second start for the 16-year-old, and Stephen McCarthy, his first start for San Antonio FC this season. He's played in 2 Open Cup games this year. Methodist Healthcare has our injury report for tonight. Pekka and Rafa Castillo both out with lower body injuries. Omar Gordon leads San Antonio FC, tied with Alex Bruce for 3 goals. He hasn't played, though, since July 4th. And for more on Omar, let's send it down to the third member of our team, Anya Rosales, down on the field.
Thanks, Dan. Hey, guys, I'd rather trade places with you tonight and be up in the box because it is hot today. It was reaching over 101, 102 degrees. Right now it's a little cooler because we're in the shade. But it is definitely going to be a factor that both teams are going to have to deal with tonight. And another factor is, like you said, Omar Gordon, who's been a threat offensively. He has 3 competition goals and 4 in all competitions. And he's hit this recent hot streak where he's just come out and he's really scored in 3 consecutive goals. And one of those was an equalizer where it sparked a 2-1 comeback against Portland Timbers. So a lot to look forward, a lot to deal with tonight. And back up to you guys.
Anya is already the MVP of the telecast for braving the conditions down on the field this evening. Darren Powell trying to find a spark in the second half of the season. His team sitting at 5-5-7, 6 points out of the 8th and final playoff spot. And we are underway. First meeting of the season between San Antonio FC and Real Monarchs SLC. With Lance Key, Anya Rosales, and our entire crew, I'm Dan Weiss. Great to have you along here on Fox Sports Southwest. San Antonio FC last Saturday night, 3-0 defeat in Orange County. Real Monarchs SLC 2-0 winners against Seattle at home in their new facility this year, Zion Bank Stadium. So Omar Gordon will make his first touch in the box. Gordon whips it across right through the keeper. Take Leaker it in. An opening goal for Omar Gordon in the opening minutes. San Antonio FC with a 1-0 lead.
What a start for SAFC tonight here in front of their home crowd after coming off the 3-0 loss last week. We're going to see the build-up here, and you're going to see just a fantastic bit of class from Ethan Bryant here. Just a little flick over the top. Omar Gordon, a great run in that wide space. And just as he tries to play it across, it's going to take a deflection off of that defender. What a start for SAFC tonight.
Couldn't have asked for a better start, as you see off the defender and in past the keeper, Jake Leaker. And for San Antonio FC, exactly the start that they needed. Just the 5th time this season, San Antonio FC has scored the opening goal. Against a club that scores a lot, Real Monarchs SLC, who begins the night atop the USL and wins 13. Atop the USL, 41 points. They are tied for 10th overall in the league, 29 goals. San Antonio FC, who has been unfortunately mired at the bottom of the statistical table in goals scored. They had been tied with Tulsa for the fewest goals of the USL coming into play tonight, but they break that tie here in the opening minute of play.
Such an important sequence there for SAFC.
And here's the first touch for Ethan Bryant as he swings it out wide. San Antonio FC on the attack. Connor Presley as Greg Cochran will make the overlapping run, and back to Bryant and San Antonio FC here regrouping. San Antonio earned 2 results last season against Real Monarchs SLC. A 2-2 draw here at home that was played almost exactly a year ago to this date, basically on the same Saturday, July 22nd, and then went to Salt Lake City. They were down in the game, Lance, 1-0, very late, scored 2 late goals within 2 minutes of each other, and pulled out an improbable 2-1 victory. As you see, Stephen McCarthy, it's so good to have Big Mac back in the lineup tonight, the 30-year-old, as he appears in his 50th career game with San Antonio FC, part of this club for each of their first 3 years, and perhaps the center back that they have been missing all season coming into play tonight.
We've talked a lot over the course of the season, you and I, Dan, just in terms of the consistency, the personnel changes, the different looks that SAFC have had to try to put out to find just that quality and that kind of cohesion, if you will, within the side. Stephen McCarthy is a big part of that. He's been a big loss throughout the course of the season to this point, not being there in that central defender role. His organization, his experience, his maturity in that area of the field is very, very important, and I think it's going to pay big dividends having him back in there. And certainly as you look at the way this match starts, going up a goal so early completely changes the complexion of what Real Monarchs are going to have to do on the day, which creates a little bit more space for SAFC to have some comfort and be able to play and build and possess. So it will be interesting to see what indeed does change here in these early stages of the game with this 1-0 scoreline so early.
So as you see, we had an infection control stoppage. Kalen Ryden got dinged in the face. Looked like he suffered a bloody nose. And he's going to get set to come back in as we resume action as Darnell King coming up that right flank. Sends it low into the box. Touch for Gordon. Back to Ever Guzman as play continues. King here outside of the corner of the box will return to Mikey Lopez. And out high, Charlie Ward as he plays off to the left side. Cochran for Connor Presley. Lopez trying to settle down. Guzman inside the area, defended away. As Ryden has rejoined the play here. Ryden plays out on that left back position for Real Monarchs SLC. And if you're watching tonight, he'll be right now the man without a number on his jersey, but he is 52 for the record. Cochran with the ball.
As I mentioned, coming off of that first goal, so important. You got a very, very young Ethan Bryant stepping into that number 10 role. And for his first touch on the ball, what a fantastic little ball over the top. Good movement from Omar Gordon off the ball. And what a great start in terms of building confidence, not only for Ethan Bryant there in that number 10 role, but then also for Omar Gordon, who, as you mentioned, has been out a couple of games. He's been one of the go-to players in terms of being able to get attacking productivity out of. And for him to score early on, we've seen what goal scoring can do for his matches as he continues to play beyond that. Those goals are very important to him. They build a lot of confidence in him, and we see that confidence really manifest throughout the course of the match in games past where we've seen him get those goals.
Gordon takes over the team lead with his 4th goal of the season, and for the 16-year-old Ethan Bryant, who won't turn 17 until August the 20th, he's got 2 starts, he's got 2 assists in those 2 starts. And interesting that you don't often see a player of his experience level playing in that number 10 role. And just to put a comparison, the player opposite him in the number 10 role tonight for Real Monarchs SLC might be the best overall player in the league in Sebastian Velasquez, who wears number 55, and he's 27, and he's played at the pro ranks for the last 7 seasons. So quite a comparison tonight, but Bryant with the touch, Gordon the finish, and an early 1-0 lead for San Antonio FC at home, where again this has, and Darren Powell still believes, is a very difficult place for teams to come in and try to earn results.
It's certainly proven to be that over the last 3 seasons. Teams don't have an easy time when they come here, and that's the way you want it. But certainly when you go down a goal in those first couple of minutes, you come in with a plan, you come in with an approach in how you're going to manage this environment in this heat. You go down a goal in the first 90 seconds, it completely changes how you have to manage the rest of the match, which is certainly in favor to the home side. We look at the overall personnel. You and I talked about leading up. 19 different players for SAFC have started over the last 3 matches. You see Ever Guzman really now back up into his most comfortable number 9 role. Charlie Ward back in the mix, an experienced quality player there in the middle of the park to play underneath Ethan.
And here is the aforementioned Sebastian Velasquez, 50 career appearances in Major League Soccer. This is his 5th year, part of Real Salt Lake organization. 2nd go around here with Real Monarchs SLC there for the native of Greenville, South Carolina. This is Charlie Adams here, who's going to take the free kick just in front of his head coach, the interim head coach, Jamison Olave. His 9th match at the helm. This goes through Omar Gordon, but is taken by Mikey Lopez, and San Antonio FC quickly on the counter, but the ball a little bit too long in the direction of Connor Presley. For Connor Presley, tonight is his 7th start of the season, 13th overall appearance for the 20-year-old. A lot of youth in the lineup tonight for San Antonio FC between Presley and Bryant. And then at the same time, nice to see the veterans as this ball is dangerously off the side of San Antonio FC's net as Diego Restrepo came out to play it.
A little too casual there from Diego. Just got caught in possession, didn't realize what was off his left shoulder, and took that touch right into a Real Monarchs attacking player. But Real Monarchs are a possession-based team, a team that likes to have the ball. They defend well, they attack well, they build well through zones. So you would imagine that even though they're down a goal, they're going to try to stay as consistent as they can.
What a build up here. Presley whips it into the box and defended away. But everything from the start on San Antonio FC's side of the field to the push forward was beautiful from a tactical standpoint.
And they look comfortable tonight. They look fluid. Do SAFC. You know, sometimes you think about little things. You put an Ever Guzman back up at the top. You put a Stephen McCarthy back here in his central defender position. You put a Charlie Ward right there through the middle of the park. Those types of things make a difference.
Great touch by Gordon, gives it a goal, and a deflection off of Ryan, and he'll turn into the first corner of the match. So Omar Gordon did not play at all against Orange County last Saturday, did not play in the friendly against Santos Laguna, so he has not appeared since July the 4th against OKC Energy FC, and has some fresh legs here early, and an individual piece of skill there. Charlie Ward over to take our first Circle K corner kick of the match. Charlie's 4th appearance with San Antonio FC since being signed back in June. Second start with the club. Right-footed in swinger, good ball to the top of the 6. It's brought down by Hedrick, but headed just wide.
And attacking corners have not been something that SAFC have done a fantastic job with in terms of execution. I think maybe one goal we've talked about thus far, an Omar Gordon gone directly into the near post. But Charlie Ward, not one that we're used to seeing out there. An outswinging ball. That outswinging ball from the right footer there really requires fantastic technique and power. And so one of the things that sort of the difference between an outswinger and an inswinger, trying to figure out what's the right service to hit. If you've got players that are running on the end of those crosses, that are great headers of the ball, they do a good job of finding their own space and creating power, those outswingers can be fantastic. Sometimes those inswingers, however, they're coming right in on the frame, and all they require is just a little touch to redirect. We see an attempted quick start there from Mikey Lopez. Good heads-up play.
Victor Rivas, our center referee tonight, working with him, Ben Pilgrim, Rigo Cardenas Paredes, and Juliana Duncan. Here's Velasquez. Tries to go against Hedrick. Hedrick gets a little bit of contact on him, but we play on. Darnell King returns it to Diego Restrepo. Real Monarchs SLC, the best regular season record a year ago in the USL. 20 wins against just 5 defeats, 7 draws, 67 points, but they were eliminated in the quarterfinal round of the Western Conference playoffs as they were defeated in penalties by Sacramento Republic.
That last little bit of build-up, just 3 passes to get from one end to the other.
And this play was onside for Velasquez, but unable to run it down as Diego Restrepo will take it. Restrepo with a record this season, 5 wins, 5 defeats, 6 draws for the 30-year-old from Venezuela. 16 career clean sheets with San Antonio FC to go along with his 19 wins. And he's up against the rookie keeper tonight, Jake Leaker, 23-year-old who was undrafted. Played the last 4 seasons at the University of Memphis, 49 overall matches for him. And 10 clean sheets in his career with the Tigers. Keeper from a year ago, Connor Sparrow, who has played some games down with Real Monarchs, has essentially served as the backup keeper for the first team, Real Salt Lake, for the majority of the year. Presley, Akron, challenge there for the Monarchs, and Presley will take it back in the midfield.
And here you see early stages, Charlie Ward really working himself back in between the 2 central defenders, trying to be the point of build.
Darnell King makes the run up the right flank, keeps it in play, puts it back out to the top of the area. Lopez brings it down, gives it a go, but just wide.
And when Charlie Ward slips back in between those 2 central defenders, that allows your outside backs in Felix and Cochran to make those runs up the flank, which we've seen already several times in the early stages of this match. Mikey Lopez doing a good job of getting across the face, just can't keep it on frame.
Gordon off the turnover, Leaker the save, a rebound from Bryant, blocked aside, and then Gordon with another opportunity that takes a deflection, but the flag was already up on Omar Gordon.
Yeah, decent second chance there from Ethan Bryant to get on the end of a little rebound that Leaker probably shouldn't have given up. Looks like maybe he just got off balance a little bit with that shot from Omar Gordon. Wasn't able to hold it in, but made the second save.
He had 6 clean sheets coming into tonight's match as Real Monarchs SLC, the biggest difference for them from a year ago, they're much better defensively as they begin play tonight. 4th overall in goals allowed, just 16 coming into play tonight. And a year ago they could score a lot, but they were oftentimes victimized as well by the opposition, found themselves in a lot of high-scoring matches. This year, they've found their way to keep their opponent off the sheet, although not tonight here into the opening minute. And it is the fastest goal, by the way, in San Antonio FC history, clocked at 32 seconds for Omar Gordon. So a little bit of history tonight for San Antonio. Michael Chang makes the turn, puts it back out top, switch the play across. Kasher, as Ryden gets up on the left side, and this is defended out by San Antonio FC. Masta Kasher was brought over from Colorado Springs in the offseason, 7 goals a year ago in 32 games. Was the only player in USL to play in all 32 matches in the season that was not a keeper. Velasquez off the byline, trying to send that one through, defended back outside the area. Velasquez keeps it moving, fights through Ward. Velasquez, and the game level at 1 as Sebastian Velasquez in the 16th minute has even things at a goal apiece.
You're going to see a couple of chances here in the build-up for SAFC to be able to clear this. And really just a little bit of lazy defending there. Restrepo back in his heels. Goes down just a little too early. Maybe expecting something different off of the foot of Velasquez. There you see him way back in his heels. And Velasquez with the equalizer here after a quarter of an hour.
14th goal in 42 career matches for Real Monarchs, and for Sebastian Velasquez, that gives him 17 goals over the course of his long career. He's had a couple of different stints with Real Salt Lake, so spent some time in his Major League Soccer career with NYCFC, was also part of Rayo OKC when they were in the North American Soccer League a couple of years ago too. Was a teammate of Pekka and Billy Forbes playing at Rayo. So Sebastian Velasquez, a big equalizer here that has leveled us back at 1. And Lance, that's what you get when you play a top team of the table, Real Monarchs SLC. They're not going to back off just by going down in the opening minute. Certainly not. They're definitely not going to go away. And they're a team who's obviously capable of scoring goals, creating good goal-scoring opportunities. That time, really, Velasquez created that out of nothing. There was good first and second defender in terms of numbers there for SAFC, and they just didn't defend it well from a technical standpoint. Was able to create some space for himself, was Velasquez coming straight on Restrepo. And then, as I said, Restrepo just leaning back. Bad technique in the end for him to be able to make that save. Overlapping run for Adams. Ball comes back to the midfield. Switch the play across. Brought down here is Ryden. Put it back out on the left side. Good collective decision there from the back line of SAFC to just a step forward as that started to build there on the left-hand side, getting it onto an offside position. But they're certainly going to have to defend better as the game goes on, our SAFC, because as we said, we've got the top team in the table who likes to have the ball. They do a good job. They're very talented, very dangerous going forward in their attacking group. That's not going to be the last chance that they get on the night. And so the flip side of that, though, is doing a good job of keeping the ball when they have it. First touch here for Chandler Hoffman tonight, who we highlighted at the top of the broadcast. A good job by San Antonio FC trying to collapse on Hoffman and take possession away from him as you see Velasquez in there. And again, that is a dangerous front three with Kasher, Velasquez, and Chandler Hoffman up top. Hoffman, 23 career goals in just 51 games with Real Monarchs, scoring at almost better than a goal per game pace over the course of his Real Monarchs career. 26-year-old who was drafted 13th overall by Philadelphia back in the 2012 MLS Super Draft. And in that conversation, don't discount Michael Chang and his contribution, a very talented player. Nice play by Gordon to keep it alive at the touchline. Working with King. Gordon steers it into the area, and what looked like was going to be something very easy for Jake Leaker is now going to turn into a free kick and a set-piece opportunity for San Antonio FC as Omar Gordon draws the contact and the foul.
Just left a little bit in there, did Velasquez, but the ball in the end was really going to cause no danger at all. It was going to be an easy collection, as you mentioned, and that's certainly what the Real Monarchs players are going to be saying. Yes, there was a little bit of contact, but in the end, it was a change of possession anyhow.
Let's see if San Antonio FC can capitalize on a very nicely gifted set-piece opportunity here in the 20th minute. And what has been a fast-paced game early in the first 20 minutes. 1-1 our score. Charlie Ward and Greg Cochran over the ball here. It's Cochran hesitating. Ward puts it to the back post. Hedrick gets up, but again puts it wide of goal. It's twice Cyprian has gotten to the area to get under that on the header, and twice he's put it wide.
Yeah, there's a reason Cyprian goes forward on these free kicks. He's good in the air. He does a good job of finding space. There you see him get across the face of the defender. Michael Gallagher there. And a decent little hesitation there you saw between Cochran and Charlie Ward to get that delivery off.
Nice little run again by Velasquez into the area. Good tackle there by Hedrick, coming out to challenge Velasquez, who we already saw is dangerous in tight quarters, and now he'll open it back out. Kosher switches the play, top of the area. Settled down, however, by Charlie Ward. San Antonio FC on the counter. Connor Presley in space. He's got Guzman to his left and tried to just lead ever a little bit too long there, and that allowed the defender to come over and make the play. That was Sean Berry, who's playing in his first game with Real Monarchs tonight. Got injured in the first game of the season for the first side, Real Salt Lake, and I guess a quote-unquote conditioning assignment tonight for Barry. Cochran finding a seam. Couldn't maintain possession, however. And it's returned by Gallagher. And Leaker will send it forward. And there's the aforementioned Michael Cheng, who you were talking about, out wide on the right side of the midfield. Cheng and Justin Portillo were both brought over from the Charleston Battery a year ago. Two of Charleston's all-time leading scorers, coming as a combo duo. Kosher whips it to the top of the box and brought down by McCarthy. San Antonio playing another long vertical ball in the direction of Guzman, but again run down by Barry. And the throw in here is going to actually end up going over to Real Monarchs.
You're seeing Charlie Ward come back into the bottom of midfield, collect the ball, be able to get his head up and get his hips up the field, and you starting to see him spray these balls into these wide channels on diagonals. And those are the types of balls that are really going to create space. They're going to create goal-scoring opportunities here for SAFC tonight. Something that we haven't really seen them get enough of, in my mind, of late, is being able to hit those diagonal balls out to the opposite touch lines. That's where all the space is. It gives those players, when that ball arrives, it gives them that extra little bit of space and time on the ball.
No foul there in front of Darren Powell, who wanted the contact against Gordon. San Antonio maintains possession. Stephen McCarthy, former second-round draft choice in the New England Revolution back in 2011. This is his 8th professional season. He's appeared in 69 games in Major League Soccer, 137 games over his long career. Just a sense of poise and calmness in the center back position that perhaps San Antonio FC really has been lacking throughout the course of this year. Presley outside, attacking against Moberg. Puts it across the face of goal, gets over Leaker, and it'll result in another corner here for San Antonio FC. It has been a rough first 22 minutes tonight for the rookie keeper, Jake Leaker, beg your pardon.
Yeah, that time Connor Presley really just keeping the pressure on, keeping the ball close, just trying to find that little seam to be able to play that ball across the face of goal. It's going to take a deflection. You see right off of James Moberg's right foot as he sticks his leg out and sends Leaker the wrong direction. Subsequently sends him scrambling to try to get to the back post and get it covered.
Second corner for Charlie Ward. played right to Hedrick, who was coming forward, tried to head it forward and didn't get much on it. And quickly played out by Real Monarchs. Gordon out wide now on the left side. That's Barry, who's down in the area. And not the best ball from Gordon results in a turnover for San Antonio. And it'll be played out to allow Barry to get back to his feet. And again, this is Sean Barry's first match back since the opening week of the MLS season, as he got hurt playing with the first side Real Salt Lake against the newcomer to Major League Soccer this year, LAFC. Sixth-year pro Barry, who's spent most of his career playing overseas in Europe in the Austrian leagues, the German leagues. Last season playing in Poland. He looks like he'll be up and okay to continue.
That last corner, another Charlie Ward service. Cyprian Hedrick getting on the end of it. Charlie Ward offering a different service off those set pieces than what we've seen.
Well, talking with Darren Powell yesterday at training, one thing I asked him was about preparation Sunday through Friday. And he told me that in every training session, the one thing he's been really impressed about is how well training sessions go, how hard the players work, how they execute and do all those things in training. And frankly, it's just about taking what they do Sunday through Friday and applying them to Saturday.
Yeah, well, ability, just like knowledge, is great to have, but you've got to do something with it.
Presley, as Gallagher defends that out in the third corner for San Antonio FC.
Cheeky little ball here from Omar Gordon. Good movement off the ball in anticipation from Connor Presley to ultimately win this corner. But you talk about that, and we talked about 19 different players starting over the last 3 games and sort of anecdotally bringing that information to into play. But to your point, and ultimately to Darren's point, what you're doing throughout the week is got to apply come game day. And when you don't have that, you become, or you go into search mode where you're just trying to find the right combination, the right mix of ingredients on a Saturday evening to get the result, to get 3 points. And that's one of the things they just haven't been able to do enough this year, is get 3 points out of matches.
Darnell King. Onside is Presley. Back across, deflected on save. Gordon the rebound. San Antonio FC the 2-1 lead. It's a brace for Omar Gordon. And San Antonio is back ahead against the top team in the USL.
It's going to be a great ball across here from Connor Presley. Drives it across the face of the 6. That first save Leaker didn't know anything about. Barry recovering into his face. You're going to see that ball come off of Barry, I think, and the Leaker keeps it out. Falls right to Omar Gordon, who just drives it back on frame. Puts San Antonio up 2-1 here. Continuing to build the confidence for Omar Gordon. Such an important piece at this stage of the season for your goal scorers to be playing with confidence.
It's the first time in 8 games, Lance, that San Antonio FC has scored twice in a match, not including their match against Santos Laguna in the friendly played a couple weeks ago. But Omar Gordon continues to shine with San Antonio. Now 5 goals on the season. And the first brace of his San Antonio FC career gives Gordon now 6 goals in 24 matches all time with San Antonio FC after joining the club late last season. Well, we said Omar Gordon might have fresh legs tonight, and certainly appears to be the case. It was well calculated by Darren Powell to not play him against Santos Laguna, and then even gave him some more time off last Saturday night, not putting him in the 18 against Orange County. And it's paid off here in the first half.
Yeah, really a great start. You think about getting through the first 30 minutes of a match when you're a goal scorer, and I keep going back to this point, it's so important for you to see the ball come off of your foot and hit the back of the net. And so when you are at a time where you're struggling to score goals and you have players who are on the cusp of confidence, to see them be able to get those to go in for off of their foot is just it's a really, really important piece to that player continuing to build and grow into the side. And as you mentioned, coming off a couple of games, maybe refreshing him. And he's certainly been sharp to start this match tonight.
These two teams played an exciting one here last season in the first ever visit by Real Monarchs SLC to San Antonio. There was an opening goal from Chase Minter, followed up by Devin Vega scoring, and then Chandler Hoffman on a penalty in the 32nd minute. A 2-1 Real Monarchs SLC. San Antonio FC got a late equalizer to even things up. And we'll have our first of two scheduled hydration breaks here now as we cross over into the 30th minute of the match, in the 31st minute as well. San Antonio FC Soccer on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Toyota. Buy at Toyota.com or visit your local Toyota dealer today. Along with Lansky and Anya Rosales, I'm Dan Weiss. Great to have you along here. This is match number 18 of the season for San Antonio FC, and it has already been a historic match for Omar Gordon, who has won the fastest goal in San Antonio FC history, 32 seconds in to the match, and has his first brace as a member of San Antonio FC, scoring just moments ago to have the home side ahead now 2-1.
And a point of interest, and we've talked about this throughout the broadcast here at Toyota Field this season, but I think early stages of the season, not a whole lot of activity and productivity coming from these wide areas, getting good quality service into the box and getting runners and numbers onto the end of it. And both of the goals tonight coming from movement off of this right-hand side, getting down to the final 5-10 yards and getting balls hit across the face of goal, one taking a deflection to go up 1-0, and then that ball across from Connor Presley creating the second goal-scoring opportunity for Omar Gordon. But that's such an important piece of the game to be able to get into those wide areas, create numerical advantages, and get service across the face. And you see what it's done for Jake Leaker tonight, where he's really having a tough time being able to pick up and manage those spaces in front of him right there along the edge of the 6-yard box. Consequently, you see SAFC up 2-1.
Let's check in downstairs with Anya Rosales. Anya?
Yeah, Dan, as the team came to the sideline to get a water break, there was a lot of good kind of energy, positive confidence coming off. The guys kind of talking to each other. You can see them saying, keep it up, keep it going. Coach Darren Powell doing the same thing here. Just a good vibe overall with the guys as they are up 2-1 right now. And you could see Darnell King and Omar Gordon really communicating on, I guess, that transitional play that you see him getting up in the attack. And that's obviously what's going to keep them ahead tonight, is getting up in the attack, putting numbers up front, and making the Real Monarchs focus more on defense tonight than offense.
Thanks, Anya. And again, Anya talked about the conditions tonight, what it feels like down on the field. Sun's starting to set here at Toyota Field, so it'll bring the temperatures down. But, you know, when you do not play in 100-degree heat, that certainly will take a toll on the body a little bit as the match wears along. One thing, Lance, though, is there's still 60 minutes left in the match, too, and we've already got 3 goals on the board, so it has clearly taken a rhythm that we have not seen, really, from a San Antonio FC match in a long time here at Toyota Field.
Yeah, we haven't seen SAFC put this kind of attacking productivity together in a half-hour spell very often at all. So to see them get on the end of 2 early on in this match is very, very important for them. Here we see Omar Gordon getting down that right-hand side again.
Wins the ball, whips it across the face of goal and off of Ryden, and it'll turn into San Antonio's third corner of the match. You see Kalen Ryden's got his 52 jersey back on after we had the opening minute stoppage for infection control with some blood on Ryden's jersey. San Antonio FC has taken all 4 of the Circle K corners in the match so far.
I see Charlie Ward here again, this from the other side with an in-swinging ball. We talked about that earlier.
And this one got through. It was defended out there at the last moment on the back post. Presley tries to whip it in. It'll come down. Portillo plays out here on the counter. Good run by Velasquez as he runs on Greg Cochran. Sebastian Velasquez turns back into the inside. A little tackle by Mikey Lopez to win the ball away. Moore trying to return it there to Lopez and instead winds up back with Velasquez. He's looking for Charlie Adams and brought down by Presley outside. And we'll turn to a free kick here for Real Monarchs.
It's good transitional defending that last time from Mikey Lopez. Here we see Connor Presley now trying to recover and just comes right through. Might have been a little bit of dramatics there. But a Real Monarchs free kick nevertheless.
That's Portillo over the ball. 18 career goals in 123 USL matches for the 25-year-old. Portillo, good service into the area. Defended by Lopez, very high. And knocked down by Diego Restrepo. The flag ended up going up. And it'll turn into another corner. This will be the first corner here for Real Monarchs.
Portillo, who just hit that free kick, now steps out to take this corner. Really a very good delivery that last time. Clears the first defender. It's dipping, it's got pace on it. Outswinger here.
Top of the six, Moberg got under it, but served it out wide. Can be kept alive. Good hustle by Real Monarchs SLC, keeping that ball in play. Service back to the back post this time will come through here to James Moberg. Keeps it moving, defended by Darnell King. And that ball ends up riding out. It'll end up being a throw-in here for San Antonio. And then turned right back over by Mikey Lopez on the miscommunication. Portillo to the back post. Restrepo got under it, and they'll say that the ball went over the byline before the service. There'll be a goal kick here for Diego Restrepo.
Michael Chang just going to whip this ball in with his right foot. Just can't quite get through it enough. Comes around it more. You see it go out over there for a goal kick, but certainly not the most comfortable of plays from Restrepo there on the back post.
That was very close, too. If you take a look at it on the byline, I'm not so sure that ball rode out completely. San Antonio may have caught a break there.
It was certainly close enough to have played it a little bit more securely than it was. But no harm, off they go.
Needless to say, it's been an adventure for both keepers tonight so far here in the first 37 minutes. Contact on Lopez against Charlie Adams. And a quick reset, Velasquez. So good with the ball at his feet and against another player who's as exceptionally good in Omar Gordon as they work it out wide. And here's Ryden. Back to Masta Kasher. Kasher slips it through there. And as Velasquez let it go, Charlie Adams couldn't get on the end of it. Cochran will quickly play forward for Ever Guzman. Haven't heard a lot of Cheno here tonight so far in the first half. A return ball to McCarthy. But footsteps coming, and he'll just drive it forward.
You're right. Not a whole lot of activity there for Guzman. Not a lot of balls at his feet. As we talked about, a lot of the activity in the final third for SAFC tonight has been in these wide channels, which really suits him very well. You'd like to see him be a little bit more involved in the build-up into the final third, but those balls into the face of goal is really where Cheno's so good and so dangerous, lurking on the weak side of defenders' shoulders and being able to get across those spaces and redirect onto frame. We saw him score a number of goals like that last year for SAFC.
Ryden. Errant ball looking for Kasher. McCarthy. Back to Darnell King. Will send it forward. Leaker well off his line here. Gallagher will settle down. Well, there certainly hasn't been that calmness tonight of this match. Both sides have had their share of opportunities here. Gallagher wins possession back away from Ever Guzman. And Leaker will send it out of play into the Real Monarchs bench. Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, go to www.selectsportsamerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders over $50. Guzman. Omar Gordon. The brace in the match that has San Antonio FC up 2-1 here in the 40th minute. Kosher. Off of Lopez. In search of it, Chandler Hoffman. Kept alive by Kosher, but delivered right to Presley. Cochran makes the run out wide. Cochran running on Moberg. Slips it here for Connor Presley. Edge of the box. Presley puts it across the face. A goal comes to Michael Gallagher, who will send it out.
Good movement there from Connor Presley to peel out that left-hand touchline, create that space back to the inside for Cochran to play the ball into. See a good service across the face, and there's Cheno trying to get across the face of defenders. Good bit of movement there and build-up from SAFC.
Another nice touch for Omar Gordon, Mikey Lopez, and Charlie Ward. Seeming ever more comfortable in the midfield here as he plays more and more since joining San Antonio FC. High pedigree for Charlie Ward, who spent time with Houston Dynamo. Appeared in just one match for them, but obviously a lot of technical experience playing with the MLS side. Connor Presley put that one wide of goal. Tonight's match is presented by Chick-fil-A. Visit Chick-fil-A.com to find your nearest Chick-fil-A restaurant. Lance Key and Anya Rosales, Dan Weiss from Toyota Field. 2-1. San Antonio FC with the lead over the top team in the USL, Real Monarchs SLC. Portillo out wide. Here's Moberg. James Moberg. And Velasquez got back up but couldn't get back into the inside. Lands here now. Back to Portillo. Velasquez. Edge of the box. Tries a goal. It's blocked out by Hedrick. Comes back to Kasher, whips it up high and just over the bar. A little bit more on the attack here over the last couple of minutes for Real Monarchs.
Cyprian Hedrick being Cyprian Hedrick, just staying in the way. A good block there, goes right back out to Kasher. Can't keep it under the bar, but SASC had a chance to get out coming out of that last loss of possession and didn't take care of that first pass. It's so important. That's one of the things that I think SAFC, when they're playing well and they're in a good rhythm, they're doing a good job with that first possession, that first pass, out of gaining the ball back. That helps them find their rhythm.
Here's Gordon getting out wide. Charlie Ward, Mikey Lopez. Cochran on the overlapping run out on the left side. Cochran comes back to the inside. Just puts it on frame there. An easy save for Leaker. That really closed out in a hurry, Lance, on the build-up there for San Antonio. Didn't get much in the way of bodies there in front of Leaker.
Yeah, and Leaker's going to much prefer, he's going to much prefer shots from 25 yards out where he can see him, as opposed to these balls that are being cut across the face of his goal. And to be fair, there's going to, if Real Monarchs are doing a good job defensively in terms of their organization, they're going to stop allowing those balls coming across the face, because they're going to stop allowing the ball to go around the outside of them. So they're going to force SAFC to come across and build through the middle of the park, which is what we've seen them have to do here the last few times.
A few weeks ago on our telecast, we had a treat watching Lino Mafeka for Reno, and Sebastian Velasquez seems to be in that exact same mold of a player who makes things happen in the attacking third of the field for Real Monarchs.
Now you just think about the efficiency and the proficiency when they're on the ball.
And on cue, here's Velasquez. Trying to slip it there forward. Ethan Bryan on the counter for San Antonio. Playing over the top in the direction of Ever Guzman. As he looks to run it down, he's defended there on the outside. Switching the play back to Charlie Ward. Footsteps coming, gives it up quickly to Cochran. Cochran getting forward, puts it into the area, off of Cheno and wide of goal.
And you like what you're seeing there. You see Cheno Guzman race down to recover possession down here along the near touchline and then be able to play it out and across Charlie Ward out to Greg Cochran on the left-hand side. And so you see them building attack. And that's one of the things I think it's been a big asset to have that third player in the middle of the park. We talked about that in recent weeks, going from 2 central midfielders really to 3 central midfielders. And that's an important part for them to be able to keep the ball one and to be able to change the point of the attack too. There we saw a great example of it.
Kasher, Ryden, hops over the defense there of King, but loses possession. Gordon, does a good job coming back on the ball in the defensive third of the field. Darnell King will send it forward. Gallagher to Charlie Adams. We'll have an extensive 4 minutes of added time here at the end of the first half. Remember, we had the infection control stoppage as Charlie Ward, plenty of daylight, slips it through the defense of Barry. Ever Guzman runs it down out wide on the left side. And, of course, the hydration break as well. So 4 minutes added time here in the first half. Ward to Lopez, trying to bring it down. Loses it back as Mostakasher will send it forward. Good touch for Chandler Hoffman. Michael Chang out wide. Running here on Cochran. Looking for Velasquez. Gives it a go and blocked by Hedrick at the last second as it settled down harmlessly to Diego Restrepo.
Chandler Hoffman not getting a whole lot of the ball tonight, but there that last time he just dragged Stephen McCarthy just to the outside edge of the D, which creates that space right through the middle of the park for Velasquez to come into, finds possession, nearly gets a decent shot off. But ultimately, good recovery, defensive effort there from Cyprian Hedrick to make sure that didn't get all the way through and challenge Restrepo too much. But just great timing of his movement there from Velasquez to find that little seam.
Contact and the foul on Ever Guzman. Still another 2.5 minutes or so left of added time. Moberg returning to Barry. Switch the play across field. Ryden heads forward. Kasher wasn't making the run, and this one will just harmlessly roll out here. Busy week for San Antonio FC. They'll welcome in Colorado Springs on Wednesday night here to Toyota Field. And they'll go out on the road for one as they'll head to Oklahoma City to take on Energy next Saturday night. And then they're right back here at home against LA Galaxy 2 weeks from tonight before they go out on what is arguably their toughest swing of the season. We looked at the home road splits, but they're going to play 5 out of 6 on the road between August 11th and September the 3rd. Essentially a full month on the road. As Gordon is hauled down. They've played caution-free here in the first half, and Mostakasher will get at least the first talking to from our center referee tonight, Victor Rivas. Stephen McCarthy arguing that there was perhaps maybe a little more delivered by Kasher in this instance that probably could have deserved a caution. Ethan Bryant. Return it to Greg Cochran. San Antonio wanting to make sure that they go into the halftime with a 2-1 lead here. And make the necessary adjustments to try to put themselves in the position to earn the desired result of 3 points tonight. Ward to Omar Gordon, responsible for both of San Antonio's goals in this first half. McCarthy will return to Restrepo, and San Antonio doing what San Antonio does best. Killing time, and that will kill out the final seconds of the first half. A brace for Omar Gordon, the first of his career, as well as the fastest goal in San Antonio FC history, 32 seconds in. Sebastian Velasquez with the counter for Real Monarchs SLC. Let's go down to Anya Rosales. She's standing by with Darren Powell.
Coach, you go up 2-1 going into half tonight. Strong attacking presence. What did you see out there that you liked?
I thought we were quite patient in our build-up at times tonight. Towards the end of the half, we lost that a little bit, but the patience in the build-up and then being able to play through the lines was a lot better in the first half tonight.
And Omar's scoring a brace in that first half. What do you have to say about his play tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's make sure that we continue to do both sides of the ball as a group, and hopefully we can do more of that second half.
All right, thanks, Coach. Back up to you guys.
Omar Gordon's 4th and 5th goals of the season. Sebastian Velasquez getting his 5th goal of the year. And San Antonio FC has the 2-1 lead over the top team in the United Soccer League. At the half at Toyota Field. We'll take a break. Our halftime next on Fox Sports Southwest.
This bud's for the dream and the people bold enough to pursue it. For those who come from nothing and rise to something. It's for those who take everything this country has to offer and make it their own.
It all started with a vision and a mission to put customers first and treat employees with respect. Now, for more than 40 years, we have grown to serve people, businesses, and lenders, all while giving back to the communities where we live and work. For us, business as usual is about making a lasting impression on the lives of our customers, employees, and communities. We invite you to learn more about how we can help you with your story. SWBC.
Great passing, and then Jamal Johnson back in the onion bag.
Nashville and NFC. Nashville working the give and the go. Lebo Maloto. Bebeto. Maloto.
Cincinnati's goalie, Spencer Ritchie, to Kenny Walker, who keeps it in from almost 50 yards. That is silly and saucy.
Hi, sports fans. I'm Jeff Davis, the San Antonio lawyer that's here for you. Some of you might be watching this game injured after a terrible accident. Did you suffer broken bones or have to have surgery? I want you to know that Davis Law Firm is here for you. And if you call us and you need us, we'll come to you during this game. And then we'll fight for justice and demand the cash settlement you deserve. Call me at 444-4444. That's 444-4444. Now, before we go back to the game, don't forget, there's only one number to remember, and that's 4.
Thanks. It's like a smart thing. What's the weather?
Sunny. Perfect chicken eating weather.
How'd you get in here?
It's time for chicken.
What's the traffic like?
Rerouting you to chicken.
Okay.
Hey, Calzo, order pizza.
Ordering chicken.
No, pizza.
Chicken.
Okay, chicken it is.
Chicken biscuits made fresh daily for breakfast.
Now that's smart.
When it needs to be ultra exciting, high flying, non-stop action, San Antonio FC Soccer's got you covered. When it needs to be high performing, hard working, high tech, super safe, built for comfort, and surprisingly affordable, Holt Cat has got you covered. With best-in-class cat heavy equipment, engines, generators, and more, plus legendary service and support, and the largest parts inventory and distribution network in Texas. Kick it into high gear with Holt Cat.
San Antonio FC on top of Real Monarchs SLC by a score of 2-1. And welcome back upstairs to the broadcast booth along with Lance Key. Ani Rosales down on the field. I'm Dan Weiss. It's great to have you with us this evening. Well, San Antonio FC came into tonight just 16 goals on the season through their first 17 games, but they have 2 against the top team in the USL so far, Lance, through the first 45 minutes. It has been a different style tonight for San Antonio, but it is one that has certainly worked.
Absolutely. They've done a fantastic job of getting the ball into wide channels and getting balls hit across the face of goal. There you see taking a deflection off of Gallagher there for the first goal to go up 1-0. Omar Gordon just doing a good job of getting off the ball movement into those dangerous areas. Here a great ball from Connor Presley across the face of goal. Guzman doing an excellent job to get across the face of a defender, and then Gordon smashing it home to go up 2-1.
We've talked a lot about Charlie Ward tonight making his second start of the season, Lance, as we look at the numbers and look at the possession for San Antonio FC. He's a big reason why, isn't he?
Most definitely. He's doing a very, very nice job of working himself back into the backside of midfield, collecting the ball, and then being able to play forward. I think the ball's coming off the foot 93% of the time to an SAFC target. He's just been fantastic in possession, and that's been a big reason why SAFC have been able to sustain attacking options going forward tonight.
Well, San Antonio will need to sustain that attack for the next 45 minutes. A tough Real Monarchs squad, again, not going to go away. San Antonio looking for the 3 points. San Antonio, Real Monarchs SLC getting ready for the start of the second half. More of our halftime coming up when we return after this. Teams getting back on the field here as we get set to start the second half of play. San Antonio FC with a 2-1 lead over Real Monarchs SLC. Let's take a look at the rest of the night around the USL. The out-of-town scoreboard of the Western Conference is San Antonio FC looking up at the table, trying to get back into the top 8. A lot of scoring going on around the league tonight. Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC on top, 2-1 over Tulsa Roughnecks FC. It's Orange County on the road in St. Louis, up ahead 1-0 after 45 minutes. And later on this evening in Northern California, Sacramento Republic FC will welcome in OKC Energy FC, who has been on a roll. We'll take a break. Under Rosales will join us on the other side as we get set for the second half at Toyota Field. 2-1, San Antonio on top. San Antonio FC Soccer on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Toyota. Go to buyatoyota.com or visit your local Toyota dealer today. Start of the second half. Let's send it downstairs to the third member of our crew, Anya Rosales. She's down on the field.
Thanks, Dan. As they start the second half, SAFC, they've done a good job about moving the ball and keeping the attack going, making Real Monarchs, like I said earlier, focusing on defense rather than their offensive presence. And one key player that I talked to one of the SAFC staff members about was Ethan Bryant. He's really shown some maturity this game and really doing a great job keeping that attacking presence up top for SAFC. And as we talked about pregame with Omar Gordon, doing a great job being that offensive presence. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Anya. We should clarify that Gordon's first goal has been credited as an own goal against Michael Gallagher and Real Monarchs. So Omar officially with 1 on the night. San Antonio FC will take the team collective effort being on top 2-1 as we begin the second half. Again, along with Anya Rosales, Lansky, and our entire Fox Sports Southwest crew, I'm Dan Weiss. Great to have you along this evening. San Antonio FC looking for a big 3 points here at home tonight. Again, as we begin the second half of the season, and the local 11 right now outside of the top 8 of the Western Conference. It's been a difficult season for them to this point. Perhaps tonight is the spark and the turnaround that they need to get the season going in the right direction. San Antonio FC again wearing their home black kits trimmed in red and white. Real Monarchs SLC and their away white kits trimmed in navy blue.
One of the things for me here in the second half for SAFC, we talked a lot about Charlie Ward dropping in almost in between the two center backs of McCarthy and Hedrick to find the ball and then get turned and face up. But there hasn't been that second layer in midfield for SAFC centrally, either Mikey Lopez or Ethan Bryant coming back in to fill that gap. And I think as the game wears on, they're probably Real Monarchs, are likely going to put a little bit more pressure on Charlie Ward, and so they're going to have to find that second layer to be able to then play through. And so that adjustment for me is one that's going to be big here as SAFC continue to try to build on a lead here in the second half.
It is interesting, though, talking about how the game has flowed tonight from the central part of the pitch, going from Stephen McCarthy to Charlie Ward to Ethan Bryant. And that has really, clearly in terms of the personnel, has worked to great fluidity so far through the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, and anyone trying to put together a soccer team, a group of 11 players to go out and play, is going to start there centrally and then try to build from there. And you want to be able to have just a real technical quality through the middle of the park, and you're certainly getting that with Charlie Ward. We saw the technical quality of Ethan Bryant to clip that ball over the head of the defender there for Omar Gordon to run onto for that first goal. So that technical component there in the middle of the park is what really is going to allow them to keep possession of the ball and to then be able to build. And that's what we've seen tonight. We've seen them carry 60% of the possession here against a very good Real Monarchs side who like to have the ball.
51% in the possession for Real Monarchs SLC coming into tonight's match, and they had one of the leading passers in the USL in Portillo, who has completed nearly 1,200 passes this season. So Portillo, rather, has had the wrong end in that department against Charlie Ward, who has really owned the number of passes through the first half, Lance. I believe 47 completed passes in the first half for Charlie Ward. As he works it forward here to Ethan Bryant. A good challenge there coming forward from Gallagher, and the advantage for Real Monarchs running onto the ball upfield is Chang. Chang returning it out wide. On the attack, here's Mastakasher trying to slip it across there as he was looking for Velasquez and defended away.
And you don't like that challenge against Ethan Bryant if your SAFC staff won the ball, but certainly came through that standing leg. Very, very dangerous. Not malicious necessarily, but very dangerous. Here's Omar Gordon.
Gordon into the area, off of Leaker. The ball ricochets back to Chang. Real Monarchs concedes possession as Ethan Bryant comes back to the ball. Stephen McCarthy in his first league minutes of the season tonight plays a deep ball in the direction of Connor Presley, but a little too heavy with a hit.
You see Michael Gallagher come through that standing left leg of Ethan Bryant there. First touch, probably not exactly what he wanted. Gallagher recognized it wasn't where he wanted it to go and came through with a real strong tackle.
San Antonio here, Darnell King coming forward and just a little bit too much mustard on the possession, and he ends up turning it into a foul on him, and it'll be a free kick. Sean Berry went down.
Sean Berry coming through on just a really heavy touch here from Darnell King. And as King reaches for it, just catches the top of the boot of Sean Berry there. Really a good run. Like to see Darnell King get into that space. We see him oftentimes around the outside along that right-sided touchline, but see him cutting in there and just a little bit maybe overzealous, over-anxious with that touch real long into a seasoned central defender of Sean Berry. Not really going to cause him too many problems. But you like the idea of him getting forward and continuing to attack those spaces.
You know, we've seen him do that, you mentioned, numerous times where he's outside on the right flank, will turn it back into the inside, certainly comfortable in his ability to possess the ball. This is a bad giveaway by the keeper, Leaker, and Connor Presley now, plenty of space. Low ball in, nearly another own goal, and it'll instead be a corner.
Yeah, the young Leaker here, just poor execution on that service out. There you see Gallagher just doing everything he can to keep it from going all the way across the face of goal. Nearly puts in his second of the night in the wrong net.
Charlie Ward over to take the Circle K corner kick. 5th of the night for San Antonio FC. They've got 5 corners to Real Monarchs 1 so far in this match.
See Hedrick and McCarthy here.
Short play and over Connor Presley. Comes back out to Ward. To the back post and nobody home for San Antonio. Well, Lance, the sun has gone down. It is dusk at Toyota Field as we're going to get set for our first substitution, and the super sub Jack Blake getting set to come on for Charlie Adams here in the 52nd minute. But when I was going to make it, has cooled down to a brisk 94 degrees here at Toyota Field. Start the second half.
I'm sure the only ones that are feeling that tonight are the fans on the opposite side of the stadium. Out of the sun finally.
Jack Blake, the 23-year-old, on loan from the Tampa Bay Rowdies, where he appeared in 6 games to begin the season. Last season playing in Jacksonville. The name sounds familiar. He, for the first half of the season, orchestrated what they call the Blake Report on the USL.com website, and I haven't seen Jack do what Blake Report, or a Blake down, as I think what he called it, specifically since he moved to Real Monarchs SLC. The Blake down went away.
The Blake is down.
He is down. Jack Blake making overall what is his 11th appearance of the season, and again his 5th appearance with Real Monarchs SLC. Foul as Omar Gordon absorbs the contact. There is a great story, though, on Jack Blake on the USL website right now, and I think it really gets at the heart of what it's like to be a professional soccer player, trying to achieve your dream and playing at the lower levels. Last year playing in Jacksonville, was expected to go back to Jacksonville. The team ends up folding right before the start of the year. Nowhere to play late in training camp, ends up getting a contract with Tampa Bay. When his wife was pregnant, by the way, she gives birth, their baby's 6 weeks premature. They spend 3 weeks in the hospital. Fortunately, everything is fine. The entire Blake family is doing very well. And then he gets shipped out to Utah. So quite a range of emotions for Jack Blake here over these past 12 months.
Kind of the nature of the beast, if you will, as you talked about in the professional game, really, in any sport at any level, but certainly as you get into the second and third tier of American soccer, you're starting to deal with franchise stability, if you will.
Chang, as Cochran delivers it back to Restrepo, has got to touch well, and he does as he gets it over. Chang out to Cochran. Charlie Ward creates a little bit of space for himself, stays with possession. Well done by Charlie Ward there, getting it forward. Ethan Bryant now. And a good ball delivered for Omar Gordon, but run down by Sean Berry. Let's go back again to Charlie Ward and even Greg Cochran coming out of the corner there.
Just composure, even really Restrepo. It was a heavy ball back from Cochran. Diego Restrepo does a nice job of managing it really at waist height to be able to play past the oncoming Chang. Cochran gets hold of it, gets Charlie Ward involved. Charlie Ward does a great job of just keeping his composure, finding some space, and keeping possession coming out, something that, you know, I know from the very beginning SAFC have really tried to concentrate on that composure and that willingness to play out of the back. And there we see just a great example from Charlie Ward, but a lot to do with his maturity, his technical ability.
Presley, good touch over the top. Brian settles, return ball to Presley. I don't think we've talked enough about the technical skill tonight of Ethan Bryant. I know he made that great first touch on the goal, but beyond that, it has been something special up top.
Talk to the SAFC staff, they'll tell you his technical ability is towards the top of the roster. In terms of being able to manipulate the ball, hit different types of services. We saw him early on in the season hit just a phenomenal ball forward to Cesar Elizondo, clipped it in on an angle. He's very comfortable with the ball. He's comfortable hitting a variety of different services. And really, I think this kind of the top of this triangle playing in this number 10 role, it suits him. Yes, it's a lot of weight, if you will, to bear for a young fellow, but he does a very good job and he's very technical.
Lopez onside, good ball. Cheno Guzman will just roll it in. San Antonio FC on top, 3-1.
And I got cut off there for good reason, but just again, some phenomenal example of technical proficiency here from SAFC. What a great take there from Cheno Guzman. And certainly don't discount the effort of Mikey Lopez.
Cheno's second goal of the season. First goal since he scored the night he got hurt in Las Vegas all the way back on April the 27th. And for Cheno, that's his 7th goal in 23 appearances all time with San Antonio FC.
Great effort from Mikey Lopez. Wide areas, service across the face of goal. Cheno Guzman, we talked about that earlier in the broadcast. That suits him. He gets to lurk in those areas in front of the face of goal. And just a clever little touch, pulls it behind that standing leg, that front leg, and just neatly tucks it in. We talked about how important it is for the goal scorers to see the ball hit the back of the net off of their foot. Certainly an important goal for Cheno Guzman and SAFC tonight.
That's the second time this season that San Antonio has scored 3 goals in league play this year, the other being that night in Las Vegas that they won 3-1. This has got to be a welcoming sight for Darren Powell. But look out here. Hendricks got a hold on his man. And we play on. That was Chandler Hoffman who went down in the area. He was looking for the penalty. And center referee Rivas said play forward. Velasquez back in the box. Good touch back to the inside around Cochran. Velasquez driving in. Velasquez and defended in the last moment. Out of play to earn a corner here for Real Monarchs.
So important. Those first 60 to 120 seconds after you score a goal is to come back, get organized, stay disciplined. You're going to see Velasquez just turning Cochran and Mikey Lopez there inside out as a 2. And then just trying to smash that ball into the far corner.
Played to the near post. It was defended away there by Charlie Ward. We'll get the foul here as Connor Presley went down.
We've seen a number of goals here scored in the first 10 minutes of the second half. Unfortunately, to this point in the season, most of them have gone against SAFC. Turning the tides a little bit here, starting the half off really sharp, really where they where they left off, excuse me, in the first half. Just composure, quality in possession. But you can't rule Real Monarchs out here. It's very important to understand, folks, if you're watching this match here tonight with us, they're at the top of the table for a reason. They're a talented side. They like to have the ball. At this point in time, they're down 3-1, kind of almost with a nothing to lose type scenario. So I expect to see them really play with some freedom here as we go through the last half hour of this match tonight. It's important for SAFC to really just kind of continue to do what they've done, not take their foot off the gas, if you will, prioritize the things they've been prioritizing. That's keeping the ball. It's getting pressure on them defensively. But I expect Real Monarchs here to create some chances for themselves in this final 30 minutes tonight.
There have been several games this year, Lance, where San Antonio FC has either earned a result of 3 points or they've earned a draw, where we've kind of walked out and said, you know, it was almost fortunate for San Antonio to come out with those points here as a hard challenge, as Mikey Lopez got clipped coming through the middle of the field. But not tonight. I mean, San Antonio FC, they're up 3-1, and they deserve to be up 3-1 with the way that they have played in this match. And I think that is, just from a general confidence standpoint, for Darren Powell watching for it, that I think has got to be the most encouraging thing. Is they're not sitting on this lead here. They're being able to push forward and do what they want. Is on cue, Real Monarchs back into the box. Out top of the chance, and once again, the Monarchs pull back to one as Velasquez earns his brace with a strike from the top of the area.
We're going to see Real Monarchs doing a little bit of what SAFC have done, is getting around the outside and getting service across the face. I keep saying this. You heard me say it over and over tonight. And there's Velasquez just lurking in behind that initial wave of defensive recovery. He just drifts in behind. Quality first touch out in front and is able to just to step through and place that inside the near post there to make it just that much more interesting here for this last half hour.
And a long half hour at that for San Antonio to try to see this one through. And this ball dangerously given back from Hedrick is going to get by Restrepo, is going to result in a corner. Third of the match coming up for Real Monarchs SLC. A little bit of a lapse in judgment there momentarily. It could prove to be dangerous here for San Antonio on the set piece as Portillo comes over to the right stick to take it.
A few shaky moments here for SAFC.
Right-footed in-swinger Portillo couldn't get it over the first defender. San Antonio will send it back upfield. So Sebastian Velasquez, both Real Monarchs goals in the 16th and 61st minute. This play onside, headed back into space. It's Kosher bringing it down, can't get it through. Second opportunity is blocked out by McCarthy on the bid from Jack Blake. And it has gotten dicey rather quickly, Lance.
Real Monarchs sensing this. You can almost tell they're sensing it. Continuing to push the envelope there, continue to get numbers forward. McCarthy coming up big there.
Top of the area, brought down again by Charlie Ward, over by the near post, rather. Chang goes to the back post this time, headed and off the bar. Restrepo will go out and snag it. That was Moberg who got forward, I believe, who ended up getting under that one to head it off the crossbar.
There's Moberg there, just climbing up behind McCarthy and just redirecting it back across to the opposite side. Not able to keep it under the bar there. Looked like he had Restrepo beat if he was able to get it under the bar. Fortunately for SAFC, they remain 3-2.
Guzman, a nice little touch back. Connor Presley, top of the box, can't open up in space. Back to Charlie Ward, slips through the defense, trying to push it forward, defend it away. Velasquez with a touch, not the cleanest as it's taken back by San Antonio at the midfield line. Cochran, Omar Gordon.
Certainly not short on entertainment tonight. Both teams really going for it. Both teams getting numbers forward, continuing to attack.
And a free kick here for Real Monarchs SLC. And I think San Antonio is going to have to continue to play at the pace that they've set here, Lance, over these last 27 or so minutes. I don't think they can sit back and defend to try to see out the 3 points.
No, I think you're right. You almost sense there needs to be a change here. in the near future, just to inject a little bit more life and energy and try to continue to push things forward for SAFC.
Chang back to Moberg. Up top's Jack Blake. Velasquez. Return ball back to Blake. Defended away at a foul. And a caution here, and it's going to go on Jack Blake after the fact. As Mikey Lopez is on the end of it, and Jack Blake goes over to make sure Mikey's okay. 65th minute, the yellow on Jack Blake.
Tackles continue to fly here. But no, you're exactly right. You cannot, if you're SAFC, you cannot sit back and try to defend and just manage this game. You have to continue to try to dictate the rhythm of the game, which they've done really the vast majority of the time for the first 64, 65 minutes here. It's only been the last couple of minutes maybe that they've started to lose a little bit of that superiority in terms of dictating the rhythm of the game. But we've talked about it all night long. Real Monarchs are at the top of the table for a reason. They're going to continue to find ways forward. They're going to continue to do what they do well. It's keep the ball. It's create goal-scoring chances. We've talked about the danger of the three up top.
Presley's able to get onto the end of this McCarthy ball, but can't settle possession. And Real Monarchs able to win the advantage forward. Kosher trying to slip it to Chandler Hoffman. Hedrick, the challenge. San Antonio able to win the ball. Ethan Bryant in space. Bryant turns it to the left, switches the play. Omar Gordon. Gordon running on Moberg. Gordon cuts it back into the inside. Three collapse on him. Gordon is down to the foul. And the yellow on Moberg in the 67th minute.
Some really good individual effort here from Omar Gordon. What we're not going to see is the really good movement from Cheno Guzman off the ball, working his way back into an onside position, creating a seam. Gordon wasn't able to get his head up. He had three defenders around him. But if he's able to see that movement from Guzman, Guzman is in on his own.
So Jack Blake into the books in the 65th minute, and now James Moberg into the books in the 67th minute for Real Monarchs. And now San Antonio with a good opportunity on a set piece. This has been Charlie Ward's specialty so far here tonight. He's over the ball. Can San Antonio FC get that one back? Try to push their lead back to 2. Ward, near post! Oh, what a finish by Charlie Ward! San Antonio FC is back up by 2, 4-2.
You could almost feel that coming as Charlie Ward lined it up. He stepped up to the ball, put it down, knew exactly what he wanted to do with it. He was never going to go far post. He was always going to come up over the top of the wall, get this ball up and down, all the while bending away from Leaker into the top corner. Nothing Leaker could do really, couldn't see it until the end. And even if he could see it, I'm not sure he would have been able to get across to it. Just fantastically taken from Charlie Ward there to send SAFC back up with a 2-goal margin now at 4-2 here in the 69th minute. What a fantastic goal.
That's Charlie Ward's first career goal in the professional ranks here in North America. He had played 45 games in the USL without a goal to his credit. And San Antonio FC with their second set-piece goal this season. And their 4 goals ties for the most that they've scored in a single match in their history as Cochran goes down.
That's Moberg, who just went into the book as well. Had a whole lot of Cochran's jersey in his left hand as Cochran started to get into that space away from him.
I mean, just to put the 4 goals, Lance, in perspective tonight, That's a quarter of San Antonio's total goal output through the first 17 games of the season, done in less than 70 minutes here tonight. That's pretty impressive.
I'm not sure if that says more about tonight's performance or the season performance to this point, but certainly something to appreciate and value. We talked about them being at the halfway point of the season. We talked about them needing to get more points out of these matches. You know, when you've got the top of the table coming in to your home stadium and you put 4 past them in 70 minutes, what a statement that is.
Charlie Ward again. Play short this time to Cochran. Whips it in, defended out by Barry.
Cochran's so dangerous in those wide areas on his left foot, whipping those balls across the face. Not able to beat that defender that time. Didn't play it quite deep enough. But you see that the whole side just brimming with confidence going forward in their attacking half. Something we have not seen, and that's what 4 goals will do for you in 70 minutes.
Velasquez.
Good pressure, good numbers around the ball.
Nice job there by Ever Guzman on the aggressiveness, and you see again, Lance, you talked about that confidence. Everybody certainly a little bit of extra jump to their step right now.
Pretty stagnant in terms of movement in front of the ball for Real Monarchs right now. Not a whole lot of movement from touchline to touchline. Takes a fantastic ball there from Velasquez out to the left touchline.
It's the 3rd time in their history that San Antonio FC has scored 4 goals in league play. The last time they did it was April the 28th of 2017, last year in Portland. I'd have to go back and look. I believe it's the first time they've scored 4 here at Toyota Field. I believe the previous 2, including that one in Portland, both were on the road. We'll double check that. They've never scored 5 in USL play in their history in a single match.
It's tough to score 5 goals in 90 minutes.
Well, like Galaxy too. It was a couple months ago, I believe, put 7 on the board. Only got the touchdown, but the extra point as well. Over the top in the direction of Omar Gordon is McCarthy. And we see a little bit of the rust tonight for Stephen McCarthy, trying to play those vertical balls upfield. We saw him miss Connor Presley back in the first half. That's just going to come with timing and with feel, you would think, over the next few weeks.
Yeah, and he's mishit a couple of balls, certainly some of these over distance, but he's also been pretty good overall in terms of his possession tonight. But what he brings more even than his service quality tonight is just that maturity, that organization in the back line. He does a great job of managing spaces.
The opportunity here for Chang, corner of the box. Trying to slip it back to the top, and for a rare moment, Velasquez was not there to take it in that spot. Blake trying to fight off Presley for this ball. A little over aggressiveness by Presley, and a free kick here for Real Monarchs. Certainly time not on their side. It's a little more than a quarter hour left. We're going to get double substitutions, it looks like. Juan Mare is going to be the first substitute in for Chandler Hoffman. And the second substitute, Conrad Plua, is going to come on for Sean Barry. So there's Juan Mare in for Hoffman. Not often you see Hoffman come out of the game, especially when you are down 2 goals. But I'll tell you what, Lance, San Antonio has done a real good job tonight on Hoffman. He has had minimal impact in this game.
You think about the quality of that player, and that was kind of just to our point, talking about the presence of McCarthy there in the middle of the park for SAFC. He's not the fastest player. He's not the most athletic player in the field, but he's very smart. He does a great job of organizing and managing his spaces and the spaces around him. He's composed in possession, and they really have missed that.
And a turnover here on the attack. Portillo, great save by Diego Restrepo, stopping Justin Portillo driving after San Antonio conceded possession.
And probably the only time tonight I think Charlie Ward has misplayed a ball there. San Antonio caught really in bad shape. Restrepo doing a good job of staying big there at the near post.
And now the 5th corner of the night for Real Monarchs SLC. Portillo as McCarthy and Velasquez with words for one another. As well as Victor Rivas, the center referee. To the top of the 6 and headed wide of goal.
Part of the challenge there with those outswingers, we talked about that earlier. That outswinger just takes a very high level of technical ability to head a ball. Very difficult for attacking players to find the right space and time on the end of it.
Here is our second hydration break of the evening coming up. Sign up to play like the pros, presented by Toyota. You'll be entered to win a chance to participate in Toyota Field Day with San Antonio FC players and coaches. Go to toyotafieldday.com to enter. Well, if you are just joining us, that is not a misprint. 6 goals in the match tonight here through 75 minutes, and they started early, Lance.
Well, we've talked about it all night, how important it's been, really all season, about getting into those wide areas. And we've certainly talked about it tonight. Omar Gordon, really, his positioning and spacing off the ball. Here we see Mikey Lopez getting into the wide space, cutting the ball across the face. Terrific quality from Cheno Guzman.
And this was just the finish of the match.
What a great goal. And almost everything he's touched tonight has turned to gold. So why wouldn't he go top corner?
He's my man of the match, unquestionably. Charlie Ward. On a night where the temperatures started on the field close to 100 degrees, sitting at, well, just right about 89, 90 right now. Here as we get into the early stages of the 9 o'clock hour and late stages, the final quarter hour of this match. Charlie Ward, his first goal here in North America play. 45 previous matches in USL play. His 4th appearance with San Antonio FC, just his 2nd start. And responsible for San Antonio's 4th goal. Has them up 2 here. And if you're Real Monarchs, that last one clearly is, I don't want to say the backbreaker, but it is certainly one that, you know, obviously may have them without that little extra spark here over these last 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, well, you've seen them go down and have to fight back, and then they go down again and have to fight back. And you give up a goal like that later in the match after you've already been exerting so much of your effort and energy, it can certainly be disheartening, disappointing. And Charlie Ward can absolutely and officially say he doesn't score bad goals.
That is true. And to go back to an earlier point, this is the 2nd time San Antonio FC has scored 4 goals at Toyota Field. The last time being last year against Reno. I mean, and it seems like such a long time ago based on the way San Antonio's luck has run against Reno as of late. But they won 4-0 that night early in April of 2017. It's the only time that they've beaten 1868 in the brief 2-year history of the all-time series. Again, the 3rd time in their history that San Antonio has scored 4 goals in a match in USL play. And they're in line to pick up their 2nd win against a team that has been at the top of the table twice. Well, actually 3 times when they've faced them overall in the history. Moberg is brought down from behind by Gordon, and then Moberg a little bit of a leg up back into the midsection of Omar Gordon. Again, Moberg is sitting on a yellow already. He's got to be careful. Real Monarchs wants to move quickly here.
Omar thought he could jump on this one. Moberg overran it.
Into space, settled by Ryland. Drop back across at a foul.
You know, talking about Charlie Ward, I think there's obviously a lot to say about what he's done in possession of the ball tonight. But you can't discount his defensive effort and his organization. You can see in the run of play, you can see in transition, all the things that he's doing to organize and move players around. You think about what his impact has been on a Connor Presley to help kind of keep him organized in front of him, to keep that midfield organized and disciplined. You know, he's really played both sides of the ball exceptionally well tonight. And I think my vote would go with you, Dan. He's got to be man of the match.
Looks like San Antonio is going to get set to make their first substitute of the match as Ryan Felix is coming over, and you think this is Stephen McCarthy, who again is playing his first USL minutes of the season. Previously played 120 minutes against Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC in the third round of the U.S. Open Cup. Also played against the Midland Sockers in the second round of the U.S. Open Cup. But, you know, McCarthy, who hasn't logged a lot of minutes, and Ryan Felix, the natural center back position, would be an ideal substitute at this point of the game, especially when you're up 2 goals. You don't want to put a vulnerable McCarthy in a position here to see the match seesaw the other direction here late.
And I think you're absolutely right. But I would add to this situation now is you're looking at 10, 12 minutes now to close out this match. You're looking at a team who obviously has the ability to score goals, certainly against the run of play a couple of times tonight. I think you've got to be hoping that Stephen McCarthy can come on here and finish out this game. It's going to be important for the team's performance. I think it's also important for him. He's played a big role in this match tonight. He's been a big leader and a big organizer. I think for him to be able to go back in and finish this out is going to give him some confidence and give the rest of the team some confidence. I just don't know from a physical wellness standpoint if he's going to be able to.
Well, he's going to be brought back on here momentarily. He'll finish out at least to the next stoppage, and then it does appear Ryan Felix will come on for the last 10 minutes or so that remain when you have stoppage time included. Guzman will let it ride out. Quick throw in here for Real Monarchs. Velasquez. Mare. Chang on the receiving end of the pass from Portillo. Back out top to Moberg.
And it looked like when he went down, he was grabbing at his calf as if he had calf cramps, which you can understand in the heat and not being 90 minutes fit.
Intended for riding out on that left side and defended out by San Antonio and Connor Presley. And now McCarthy will come out and Ryan Felix will come on for San Antonio, making his 15th appearance of the season. Ironically, it's the first time that Felix comes on as a substitute this year. His previous 14 appearances had all been in a starting role. That man is going to be important and will be a big factor whether San Antonio FC will go to the postseason here over these final 16 games of the regular season. Just seeing him back on the field tonight, I think, was a big confidence boost for everybody in a black kit.
And you mentioned there were a few moments of rust, but I think overall there was a lot more good than bad tonight from McCarthy. And you just can't measure the value of that maturity, that composure, that organization there in the central defense. So important, especially, again, you talk about the teenagers on the field here for SAFC and some of the relative youth. You think about him and Charlie Ward. There's Charlie Ward chasing it down, 70-yard sprint there, chasing and put Leaker under pressure. But that maturity and experience there at the back edge of the shape there is, I think, has been something that SAFC have missed this season. And to your point, it's going to be very important here over the last 16 matches after tonight.
And again, San Antonio FC has a quick turnaround. They will play Colorado Springs coming up on Wednesday night. Colorado Springs playing tonight against Tulsa, so the rest factor is equal in terms of that. San Antonio having the advantage of being at home. Colorado Springs coming on the road. And again, that is Wednesday night. Note the start time, 8 p.m. as that'll be a nationally televised broadcast. So an 8 p.m. start Wednesday night here at Toyota Field against Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. For more information or to order tickets, go to sanantoniofc.com. And then after that, San Antonio will play next Saturday night in Oklahoma City. And then back here at home against LA Galaxy 2 before, again, they'll look at 6 out of their next 7 away from Toyota Field. And for your chance to be an SAFC ball kid at a match this season, includes 4 tickets to the match. To enter, go to the Chick-fil-A sweepstakes.com. And again, our thanks to Chick-fil-A for presenting tonight's match. It has been a dandy for San Antonio FC faithful. San Antonio FC getting on the board to the opening minute. Fastest goal in team history, an own goal delivered by Omar Gordon off of Michael Gallagher 32 seconds into the match. Sebastian Velasquez quickly came back and equalized first of his 2 goals on the night in the 16th minute. And it was followed up by San Antonio's Omar Gordon, this time getting what would indeed be his goal in the 27th minute to make it 2-1. San Antonio would add early in the second half Ever Guzman to the 56th minute. Velasquez again in the 61st minute. And then the goal of the match on the set piece from Charlie Ward in the 68th minute to give San Antonio FC the current 4-2 lead that they own. With 5 minutes or so remaining, and that's the most of a scoring summary, Lance, I've done this season. Kyle Murphy getting set to come on the match, and Maxi Rodriguez as well. Omar Gordon's night is done. And Charlie Ward should get a magnificent round of applause as he comes off the pitch. Gordon with his officially 4th goal of the season. Charlie Ward's first career goal in North America. 2 men so instrumental in what very well looks like San Antonio's 6th win of the season tonight. And the biggest question, Lance, and I'm sure it's on top of your mind too, is how does San Antonio FC take from tonight's match, and especially in a short turnaround, duplicate a lot of what they've done on Wednesday against Colorado Springs?
Well, we talked a little bit about it in terms of
Blake. Mare lets it go through. Velasquez couldn't get to the end of it, and it's pushed forward.
In terms of SAFC really still trying to find their identity 17 games in. You know, you think about the performance last week on the road against Orange County, not something that you want your identity to be framed in. But tonight, this is they're playing football tonight. They're doing a good job of managing the different aspects of the game, both in attack and in defense. They've been multi-dimensional.
Murphy went down on the attack. Rivas said play on.
But if you want to create a mold for what you want to look like, tonight would be a great mold to work from. You know, I think they've just done so many things well. A big part of it is when they've had the ball, it's not all about keeping possession. And I've made reference over the season about you got to have the ball, and you do. But it's what you do when you have possession. And they've been a lot more productive tonight. They've been more meaningful in possession. Defensively, they've looked pretty good overall, well organized, tightened up in their back third. They've been able to do pretty well in transition, something they did so well last year. That was a big part of their identity last year. They've looked good in transition tonight. So, you know, I think if you're trying to build off of something, this is exactly what you want to be building off of.
And Darren Powell was very honest yesterday in telling me that he is still, to your point about the identity, looking for the 11 guys that he can consistently play week in and week out. As Presley makes the run up that right flank, kind of rips his way around the defender to be a foul on Presley here, who has done his fair share of running on that right flank tonight. And if we just make the comparison back to last season, Lance, there were not many nights that we went into a match not knowing who the starting 11 would be for San Antonio FC, particularly in that back four. And I think that maybe that's the biggest thing we take out of tonight's match is, does Darren Powell, has he found maybe the 11 players that he feels confident going forward with here in the second half of the season.
Well, you mentioned the back four and the consistency. I think they've started 9 or 10 different players in the back line this season, trying to find the right mix and trying to find the right match and getting players healthy and some players out on yellow card accumulation. But yeah, being able to put a consistent 11 out there, or at least a consistent 8 or 9, and be able to tweak a couple of those personnel changes or personnel selections on a match night, that's important to have, and he hasn't been able to do that for a variety of different reasons, whether it be injury, whether it be accumulation of cautions, or whether it just be performance and not really knowing what you're going to get out of your side on any given night. And you know, I think if you're an SAFC player, this is, like I talked about it, the mold. This is the mold that you have to be trying to build from and to create off of. And you know, maybe the 11 that came out tonight is who you go back with on Wednesday night. You say, okay, we did well, we did a lot of things that we want to do well. We executed them at a high level, so let's go back out with that same 11 and see if we can't replicate that, at least to some degree, and then start to build into identity from there.
See 4 minutes of added time here in the second half as San Antonio FC on their way to their 6th win of the season, barring something completely unforeseen. Having said that, we've seen 6 goals tonight. That's almost completely unforeseen in itself for San Antonio FC this year. And then that's maybe the biggest difference from this season to last season. Last season, San Antonio FC could score goals, but they defended about as good as anyone in the USL. There weren't many nights when an opponent was able to ring a crooked number against them on the score sheet. That's been a little bit more commonplace this season, and maybe that's as much a part of the identity this year. And in trying to make the comparison to last season, it really doesn't become fair to try to compare the two groups anymore.
Yeah, you know, I'm always averse to trying to make too heavy of a comparison between two teams from one season to the next.
Moberg to the back post, brought down but sent over goal by Juan Mare.
Because so many things change from one year to the next, not just personnel, but things are just different. Dynamics are different. So you have to be careful not trying to put this year's side into last year's expectations. This side has to create their own expectations, and I think, unfortunately, to this point in the season, the expectations have been, I'm not really sure. I don't know what we're going to get tonight, to your point about who's going to start. But when you have the top team in the league come in, and listen, it's not been because Real Monarchs have played poorly tonight. I think Leaker hasn't had a fantastic game, but overall, they haven't played poorly, but SAFC have played very well. And you know, when you're gonna get a result and you're gonna try to create a foundation to build off of, you want to do it against a good side. You don't want there to be asterisks alongside of it. And tonight, to me, there's no asterisks. They've played well. They've executed the things that are important to execute in a tightly contested match against a very good team. So you've got to build off of this.
Well, again, that was my point earlier. I don't think you can take anything away from what San Antonio has done tonight. They have earned the 3 points. They have deserved the 3 points. And it looks like they'll walk out with the 3 points here as Mari goes down to the area, but we'll play on. A minute and a half or so remaining in stoppage time at the second half. San Antonio FC about to pick up their 6th win of the season, about to run to 25 points overall on the table. That'll get them to within 3 of Fresno, who's right now sitting on that number 8 spot. The biggest thing that San Antonio FC has going for them, Lance, tonight being just their 18th match of the season, they have games in hand on everybody ahead of them.
Exactly what I was going to say earlier and just didn't get to it, but their position in terms of the number of games played, they still have a lot of opportunity to put themselves right back into the playoff picture.
Velasquez, can he make it 3? Velasquez with a turn. Velasquez still with the ball. Comes back free. Ball towards the goal. Defended out by Hedrick. Sips had a couple of those tonight where he's prevented a goal.
Restrepo there out on a run, trying to go help and defend. And went diving at nothing, really.
Flag.
Fortunately, Hedrick had put himself in a good position to recover and manage that space for Restrepo. There you see him diving at it with Ryan Felix trying to step through, doesn't get it cleared. But there's Hedrick being Hedrick, just finding himself in the right space at the right time defensively to keep that shot from going on target.
Cyprian Hedrick, who since coming into the starting lineup has not come out. Tonight was his 6th consecutive start for San Antonio FC in a position where many people figured he would have been beginning of the start of last season. right center back spot. And of course, the emergence last year of Sebastian Ibiaga paired with Stephen McCarthy really just put, unfortunately, Cyprian Hedrick as the outside man looking in, but now he's playing a very important role in that right center back spot here. The last couple of seconds of this one. San Antonio FC about to pull off a statement victory to the rest of the United Soccer League. The home 11 comes up with a victory in the first game of the second half of the year, a 4-2 win for San Antonio FC over the top team in the table, Real Monarchs SLC. Second straight win for San Antonio over Real Monarchs, and unbeaten in their last 3 against the best team in the USL over the last calendar year.
I think about tonight, all you can say is this: it was an important match, period. To get 3 points out of this important match against the top team in the league is a fantastic confidence booster and builder for this San Antonio FC side. They've got a lot of games to play. We talked about the difficulty of the schedule ahead of them. So I think as the season continues to go on, we're going to look back on this match, and it will be interesting to see how they, as an organization, as a team, as a locker room, choose to move forward from here. Because as we said, there's a lot of points to be had, there's a lot of games to be played. They're still not in bad position in terms of playoffs, but they're going to have to continue to replicate this standard of play as the rest of the season pushes on.
Lance and I will be back with you August 4th when San Antonio back home against LA Galaxy 2. But your club season continues this coming Wednesday night at home against Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. Kickoffs at 8 p.m. and to keep up with the team on the road, follow SAFC Social. Now, for Lance Key, Anya Rosales, and our entire crew, I'm Dan Weiss, thanking you for joining us tonight. Our final from Toyota Field, San Antonio FC 4, Real Monarchs SLC 2. This has been a presentation of the United Soccer League and Spurs Sports and Entertainment. So long, everybody.